We begin the book of Ezra with a very interesting question that once again slips by all too easily because we're tempted to read these books as just history books. They record a history, absolutely, but they record a history through which a divine thread is being revealed. And so they are a little bit more than history. We look both for the events, but we look in the gaps between the events for the divine thread. And the question that reveals to us the thread through the gaps in history is this: what would cause Persia, in the height of its power as a vast empire, to give two hoots about a little remnant people and the ability of a small number of them to return to Jerusalem to rebuild there, a people who God hopes and humanity hopes will take up the business for which God called his people to begin with. And that is to be a witness to the nations of the wisdom and power of God that has entered the world to bring humanity back to its senses, to bring it back to healing. Well, we see the glimmer of the thread because, in fact, it happened. In fact, it happened. Even in the midst of a world of the great movers and shakers, of powers and sources of control that one almost quaked at, in the midst of all of this, God grabs them all by the collar, and without them knowing it, even if it's in their arrogance, he causes them to do exactly what he wants them to do, to restore his saving purpose. And that is what we're asked to pause and marvel at. There are lots of gaps. What caused the king of Syria to make that decision? What even brought it to his attention? Why would he even bother? We could ask endless questions. Look through the gaps. There is a power working here that is controlling all of these things in a way that orients it towards God's saving purpose. We are asked to believe in God's saving purpose. We are asked to see the thread of divine strength and grace working even amongst the arrogant, the movers and the shakers, the powers that are too big for us. And we're asked to see this in our life every single day. Maybe there's no king of Syria that is making our life difficult. Maybe there are different names and different people. But nevertheless, if we don't see between the gaps of all the things that seem to control us through the course of our days and our weeks and our months, then we are going to fall victim to anger and resentment and bitterness, and we will fall away from our living relationship with God. We have to take time to see the divine thread. Everyone who seems to control your life, everything that seems to control your life, has woven through it a divine thread that moves according to God's purpose. So once seeing this, what should be the result? What should be the effect? Well, the effect of it should be your freedom. It should bring you immense freedom to know this. I do not have to rearrange the world. I do not have to control the powers that be. I can live in each and every moment fully and boldly because I see the divine thread. I call upon the name of the divine thread. I ask him to stand with me in the moment. I ask him to inspire me. And I ask him to give me the strength to carry through the good he moves me to do. I do it with boldness. I do it with freedom. And I do it with joy. And when the moment is done, I let it go. I don't worry about how it's going to come out. I don't worry about how much what I did was appreciated. I don't worry about what effect it's going to have, because I know the divine thread is moving all things. And I have been moved with him, through him, and in him to play my part and I let it go. Let it go. Because he'll do the same thing in the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. And unlike so many in my world today, when night falls and I sit on the edge of my bed, I will just one last time let the last thing go. And guess what? That grace will catch me up and lean me back, and I will fall asleep. And there will be no deterioration to my brain's T cells from stress. There will be no ulcer forming overnight in my stomach, and there will be no anxiety to freeze me before I get out of bed. All things are ours in him. We but need to believe. And the book of Ezra calls us to see the divine thread, because seeing it, we will be able to obey Jesus in the gospel today. And we will be, for him, that lamp that is placed on a lampstand, that those who enter our life to see today may see the light and themselves find hope. And the grace of God that is hidden will be for a moment visible in what he moves us to do for the good and the right.